Greetings, true believers, and welcome to another titanic episode of History of the Marvel Universe. Our tale begins ages ago before the dawn of mankind as we know it today. In this ancient time, the fate of mankind and the universe itself was inexorably altered by the arrival of the Celestials on Earth. 2,000 feet tall and more powerful than gods, the Celestials had come to experiment on the ape-like inhabitants of the burgeoning Earth. On 3 separate groups of proto-humans, the Celestials performed different experiments, producing 3 different results. The first group became monstrous and violent, transforming into the terrifying race known as the Deviants. The second became godlike and took to the mountains where they would someday become the Eternals. The third group was released seemingly as they came, but the genetic tampering of the Celestials had instilled great potential in the human race that would someday come to fruition. The Eternals, meanwhile, became embroiled in a civil war between the forces of Kronos and Uranos. At the end of the fighting, Uranos and his followers were exiled to the planet that would one day bear a similar name, while Kronos remained on Earth to establish the city of Titanos. While living on Earth, the Eternals of Titanos were often mistaken for the gods of Olympus, but despite sometimes being called by his name, Zuras is in fact not the same Zeus that fathered Hercules. Years later, Kronos' experiments with the cosmic energies that made his people superior to regular men came to fruition, and the ruler of the Eternals discovered the secrets of everlasting life. However, the volatile concoction could not be contained as Kronos in his hubris had thought. The compound exploded and Kronos' body was rent asunder, his dislodged spirit becoming one with the universe itself. At the same time, while the city of Titanos was destroyed in the explosion, its inhabitants were given the gift of eternal life by the erupting cosmic energies. And so with Kronos gone, Zuras and Alars had to choose which of them would lead their people. To reach a decision unanimously, the Eternals gathered and joined their minds together. The resulting Unimind decided that Zuras would be the one to rule, and so Alars, not wishing to create conflict, such as the one fought between Kronos and Uranos, left the Earth and his people behind. Wandering the stars, Alars soon came across a large satellite orbiting Saturn, now known as Titan. On this moon were the destroyed remnants of a civilization hiding beneath the surface. This outpost was in fact founded by Uranos and his followers, but in the time since its creation had been ravaged by war and pollution. When Alars arrived, there was only a single survivor, a woman named Sui-san. Alars decided to stay there with her, and the two began to rebuild and repopulate Titan using cloning technology and genetic engineering with the help from a supercomputer they developed called Isaac. Over time, Alars became known by another name, Mentor, and had children of his own with Sui-san. First was Eros, who later went on to become the Avenger known as Star Fox. However, it was their second child that would one day threaten the entire universe. The first and only Eternal of Titan, born with the Deviant Syndrome. His name was Thanos. And upon taking one look at her infant son, Sui-san immediately attempted to end his life. Something in the child's eyes drove his mother mad, and only the intervention of Mentor saved the boy's life. While Sui-san was locked away for her madness, Thanos grew. As a boy, he was one of the most brilliant children on Titan, although he didn't have much stomach for dissecting animal specimens. Still, despite his deviant appearance, Thanos had some friends, and for a time he was happy. However, his life began to change when a young girl took an interest in him. At this girl's suggestion, Thanos brought his friends to explore one of the caves of Titan. However, once inside, the cave collapsed, burying Thanos and separating him from his friends. The young Titan dug for 3 days before he finally found the dead bodies of his fellow children, partially consumed by the local wildlife. After that, all the other children stayed away from Thanos. All except the girl. She encouraged Thanos to return to the cave, and so he did. Knife in hand, the young Titan learned the art of revenge. Thanos learned how to kill. After that, Thanos developed a taste for dissection. To satiate his scientific curiosity, he moved up to capturing and dissecting even larger organisms alive. But it wasn't enough. It was never enough. Thanos wanted to learn what made him different. The girl suggested he was looking in the wrong places, and so Thanos moved on to capturing and dissecting his fellow Eternals. The boy acquired a taste for killing. He was only 12 years old when he captured and dissected his own mother. Thanos was the first person on Titan to create weapons since the rise of Mentor's utopia. When he became a man, Thanos attempted to overthrow his father, and for these crimes he was exiled to the far reaches of space. Thanos wandered the starways, taking many wives and having many children. Still, he found no answers in any of this, no meaning in life. He joined up with a pirate crew, and when the captain challenged Thanos to battle, the Dark Titan killed him and took his place. At one point during his exile, Thanos secretly returned to the solar system. He passed over the Earth, but his ship was seen by a human family. A man named Arthur Douglas, his wife Yvette, and their daughter Heather. Thanos wanted absolute secrecy in this journey, and so he murdered the human couple, blasting their car, which crashed into a nearby pole. What Thanos didn't know was that the child survived and was recovered by his own father, Mentor. Mentor brought Heather Douglas back to Titan, where she was raised by the master of the Shaolam Monastery to eventually grow into the telepathic hero known as Moondragon. Thanos then secretly returned to Titan to visit his mother's grave. Here he reunited with his beloved childhood friend. The girl, now a woman, was Thanos' only real love, but in exchange for her love, she demanded he belong only to her. And so Thanos the pirate retraced his steps across the starways. Thanos the murderer slaughtered his own wives and children. Thanos, the Mad Titan, through genetic engineering and bionic implants, grew even larger and more powerful. However, it was never enough. Nothing he did was enough to win the favor of his childhood love, and in his rage, Thanos ordered his men to imprison the woman. However, his men saw no woman. Nobody had ever seen or spoken to this woman. No one save Thanos. This woman was no mere Eternal. She was something much more. An ancient force, a universal constant, a cosmic entity. This woman, if she existed at all, was death itself. That day, Thanos discovered the one person in all the universe he found himself unable to kill. Himself. From that moment on, Thanos sought only to appease the one being he had ever truly loved. The Mad Titan aspired to win the favor of death itself. As a part of his mad quest, Thanos returned to his homeworld of Titan and burned it to the ground. He decimated the population and razed the cities. Seeking to stop his madman of a son, Mentor confided in the disembodied spirit of his own father, Kronos. The two Eternals attempted to craft a warrior capable of standing up to the Mad Titan. Kronos seized the wandering soul of Arthur Douglas, Thanos' earthen victim, and merged it with an artificial body to bring to life Drax the Destroyer. Drax found Thanos on a distant planet and challenged him to mortal combat. The two opponents fought a superpowered battle, the force of which shattered the very planet beneath their feet. But when the dust settled, it was Thanos who stood victorious. Thanos brought Drax to a hidden outpost on Earth and held him prisoner, but the captured destroyer reached out telepathically for aid. Drax made contact with Tony Stark, aka the armored Avenger known as Iron Man. But before Stark could make his move, he was attacked by Thanos' forces. Tony was brought to the hidden fortress himself, where Iron Man came face to face with the Mad Titan for the first time. Mentor took advantage of this chance meeting by sending a beam of energy from Titan, focusing it through Iron Man's armor to free Drax. Thanos escaped, however, destroying his fortress as he left the Earth and erasing the evidence of his presence there. But while on Earth, Thanos learned of a weapon, a device that he could use to attain godhood. This quest would put Thanos on the path to battling the likes of Captain Marvel and the Avengers. And we'll talk more about that on the next episode. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and share it on your favorite social media. As always, the issues referenced in this video are listed in the description below if you would like to read them for yourself, as well as links to my various social medias, including my Patreon page, where you can donate directly to the show and gain the title of Mighty Avenger over on the Discord server. So until next time, true believers, Excelsior!